Okay, so another tricky area is using mail merge as this part of the syllabus in advanced ECDL Advanced Word. And once again, we're using the pre-online revision paper and the questions in there to help demonstrate some of these tricky areas. So question 24, we're going to use the proposal document as a form letter with a data source of addresses from your Learner Drive. That's from the folder, the pre-online revision work files. Using the mail merge feature, replace the resident text below the date with a field to display Sir if the client's title is Mr, otherwise display Madam. Then wants us to go on and merge the addresses list with a form letter and save the merged document as prop mail. So let's have a look at this together. We'll break it down and do it while we work together on it, okay? So, using the Word pre-online revision work files, let's open up proposal as suggested in the question. Let's not keep it linked to the document because I want to show you how to bring in the addresses. You can see there, the addresses doc, so say no. So the first thing you do when you open up a mail merge question or working with mail merge in the real world as well, we would go to the mailings tab. And in this case, because there are no recipients, there's no lists attached to this, and what we mean by that, there's no database with lots of names and addresses, or a spreadsheet with lots of names and addresses, or even a simple table in Word would be able to be brought in. So you can see that in the mailings tab, select recipients is the only thing that's lit up and everything else isn't. So in other words, you have to bring in an existing data source or recipients list in order for us to continue with mail merge. So we're going to use existing, and I'm going to go up to my desktop into my work files up there, and the Word pre-online revision work files. I'm going to click on and double click on addresses to bring it in, and then all of a sudden it's all lit up and working. We can see what we just brought in by clicking on edit recipient list. Now this question is not asking us to do any sorts or anything, but remember in Advanced Word you can sort things in here. You can filter things as well, so you could filter out certain towns and cities and stuff like that. You could even filter out the title. Be aware that the title has a dot, a full stop at the end of each of those, so that's important when it comes to looking at our question again. So I'm just going to OK and come out of there. So we've got that there ready to go. We can preview the sorts of things that are coming in by clicking on this button here, the preview results, and you can even look at the individual records that are coming through by clicking through these, but it's not merged yet. It is still a standard letter, this one, and you can see that you scroll down, there's just one letter there, and a list of data recipients in some form of data medium. Okay, so the question, let's back to the question. It's asking us to bring the addresses in, which we have, and replace the resident's text. So the text resident, the word resident, has to be replaced by Sir if the title equals Mr, or otherwise Madam. So it wants to make sure that if somebody's called Mrs, they get referred to as Dear Madam, and if their title is Mr, they get referred to as Sir. The way we can do this is we can use a rule. So I've highlighted resident first because that's what we're going to apply this rule to, and you've got the rules up here in the top, and we're going to use if something is equal to something. So if the title is equal to Mr, then, so that's the if, then use Sir, or else use Madam. So that's the if, then, or else. A little bit like spreadsheets really, the if function. So it's automatically come up on title, but it may not do, but we are dealing with title, and we are dealing with something that's equal to Mr, so we can keep that on there. So I'm actually going to type the criteria in, the compare criteria in. I'll make sure my cap lock's not on. And then I'm also going to use the full stop, because if you don't use the full stop, you'll find that the feature won't work, because it's not clever enough to look through the data source and pull it out if it's not exactly the same. Okay, so if you did the question in the exam, for example, or in the working world, and you didn't use the correct format of the data, then it won't work. So just have a quick look at it and review that. So remember, if the title is equal to Mr, then we want to replace resident with sir, or else madam. So it's only clever enough to replace one thing with Mr. and anything else with madam, with sir, and anything else with madam. It can't do, it can only pick up the Mr. and do one thing or the other. So in other words, the Ms., the Mrs., and anything other than Mr. will have a madam. Okay, so it's only if, then, or else. It's no more complicated than that. So if we OK, we can see the first instance is a madam, so that's correct. We can have a quick look through, and you can see the Mr. Frank Dennis is a sir, and we can continue to do that on the way through. Okay, but we still haven't merged our letter. So we need to merge it now so that it becomes actual letters to go out, and then it wants us to save that merged document as prop mail. So we need to go to the finish and merge area here. So we've got, if we hover on the edit individual documents, you'll see that it says merge to new document. Okay, so we click on there. We're dealing with all the records, no exceptions. Then we're going to go to merge it. Notice the little text, the editing error there. If I fixed it in the actual Word document, the original, before merging it here, then it would come out okay in the merged document. But because I didn't, all of them are going to have that edit problem. So what you must do in the real world, it's not in the test, but in the real world, remember that if there's any problems before you merge, you must edit that standard form letter before the merge takes place. Okay, so anyway, the exercise we're doing has worked beautifully. If I scroll down, you can see that in the case of it being a Mr., we have a sir, and anything else we have a madam. So it's worked beautifully. Then we could go on to save it as, and we could then call it prop mail. So I'm going to leave it there, and that's the mail merge using a rule of if, then, or else. Thank you.